Welcome to Section 2, Contract and Delivery Method Strategies. Click Begin to get started. Built environment projects require a mixture of services, including planning, design, and construction. Successful projects require careful consideration of the project delivery method and the contract structure required for the type of project. There are numerous project delivery methods that provide different ways to organize the services that are to be contractually delivered in order to execute a project successfully. While each project team generally consists of an owner, a designer, and a contractor, how each project is executed differs. Choosing the right project delivery method and contract structure is a crucial step before design begins, as it sets the tone for how the team will communicate and how payments will be distributed for the life of the contract. In this section, you will learn the importance of selecting the right contract structure and delivery method for your project, and the different delivery methods and contract structures used in the industry, how they apportion risk, roles, and responsibilities, and the overall project execution framework. In this section, we will discuss the different project delivery methods used in the built environment industry and how to choose the right delivery method for your project. According to the Design Build Institute of America, or DBIA, project delivery is a comprehensive process including planning, design, and construction required to execute and complete a building facility or other type of project. Choosing the correct project delivery method is one of the fundamental decisions owners make while developing their acquisition strategy. The project delivery method defines how the parties are related to each other contractually throughout the progress of the project. Before selecting a project delivery method, you should have a basic understanding of what you are building and why. Having a firm understanding of your project will significantly help you to choose the most appropriate project delivery method. To do this, start by comparing the criteria that are most important to your project's success, including budget, how much to spend; design, what the final project will look like and how it will function; risks, exposure to danger, financial loss, and harm to the brand; schedule, a timetable for completion and payments; and owner expertise, which is the company's experience in similar projects. In order to choose the best method for any project, it is critical to understand the choices available and their related impacts. The delivery method establishes when parties become engaged, influences the choices of contractual relationships, and influences ownership and impact of changes and modification of project costs. For all delivery methods, there is usually a minimum of 3 parties involved: owner, designer, and contractor. It is important to choose a delivery method that best meets the unique needs of each owner and their project. The Construction Industry Institute, or CII, have developed a structured and integrated procedure that helps owners select the most appropriate project delivery method and contract strategy. The procedure is called the Project Delivery and Content Strategy, or PDCS tool. This tool incorporates a quantitative assessment of 12 decision-making alternatives and focuses upon the project's objectives and the execution environment. Click on the Resources tab of this player to access and download the PDCS tool and supporting documentation. The PDCS tool is in the form of a simple Excel workbook and is used for performing the PDCS selection analysis. This analysis involves identifying the selection factors that are relevant to the project under consideration, decision objectives that are aligned with the owner's overall project objectives and other success parameters for the particular project, assigning preference weights to those factors to reflect their priority on that project, and obtaining aggregate scores from the spreadsheet. The aggregate scores are computed as sum product functions of the user-defined preference weights and predetermined relative effectiveness values. The higher the aggregate score, the more suitable the PDCS alternative is, in theory, for the subject project. The results of the decision support tool are reviewed in a final decision-making step. For more information on the PDCS tool, Please see the further reading later in this section. Now that you have prioritized and evaluated your selection criteria that will enable you to set up your project for success, let's explore the most common types of project delivery methods. Recall that the key stakeholders in a built environment project are the owner, the architect and designers, and the contractor. Depending on the delivery method you choose, these roles may overlap. The most common types of project delivery methods are shown on your screen. Click to download the PDF to learn more about each of these project delivery methods, and click Next to continue. Next, we will learn what contract structures are and the importance of choosing the most appropriate contract structure for the type of project. A built environment contract is a mutual and legally binding agreement between two or more parties based on policies and conditions recorded in document form known as a contract agreement. The Engineering Joint Contract Documents Committee, or EJCDC, defines construction contract documents as the written documents that define the roles, responsibilities, and work under the construction contract and are legally binding on the parties, owner and contractor. There are two or more parties involved in contracts, and this generally includes one or more property owners, designers, and contractors. The owner, often referred to as the employer or the client, has full authority to decide what type of contract should be used for a specific facility to be constructed and to set out the legally binding terms and conditions in a contractual agreement. The owner selects the contract type based upon the advice of engineers and legal advisors. Ideally, the contract type selected supports the owner's objectives and details all project constraints. Consultants and contractors should be fully informed by the project objectives and constraints. The scope and the nature of the project dictate the contract type that should be used. The key stages in the contract life cycle, as discussed in the last section: discovery, pre-award, proposal process, contract execution management, and contract closeout. To learn more about the type of contracts, click here to download a PDF. The Standard Forms of Contract, or SFOC, is a standardized agreement that provides a legal framework regarding rights, obligations, and duties of contracting parties. SFOCs are predetermined by authoritative bodies or alliances consisting of professionals, client representatives, advisory councils, government representatives, and others. A typical SFOC provides guidance, conditions, directives, and suggestions on the contract administration process. The purpose of SFOC is mainly to specify the key variables concerning the construction processes and activities. Built environment projects commonly involve complexity and diversity of risks, routine administrative procedures, and a need to establish project requirements that must be satisfied in order to close out the contract. Because these project characteristics are commonplace, the industry has created standard contract forms designed with boilerplate language that minimizes foreseeable issues and leads to greater procurement efficiency. Project owners use these standardized contracts as a starting point and customize them to suit their specific needs. Because the completion requirements are documented clearly, the project owner uses the contract to hold all other parties accountable for delivering upon their contractual obligations. Where SFOCs do not provide sufficient flexibility, it is possible to amend standard forms of contract to create a bespoke contract. Use caution when amending SFOCs, as there is a complex interaction between many of the terms of standard forms, so modification can change the balance of risk and create legal uncertainty. Examples of SFOCs include Joint Contracts Tribunal, or JCT contracts, New Engineering Contracts, or NEC contracts, and the International Federation of Consulting Engineers, or FIDIC contracts. More information on these and on the complexities of using bespoke contracts can be found in the further reading later in this section. One of the key elements of a contract is the payment structure and terms that will be used throughout the life of the contract. The 7 most common types of contract payment structures are 1. Lump sum, 2. Cost plus a fee, 3. Cost plus a fee with guaranteed maximum price, or GMP, 4. Unit price, 5. Add measurement contract, 6. Target cost contract, and 7. Time and materials, or T&M contract. Click to download the PDF to learn more about each of the contract payment structures, and click Next to continue. There are many different approaches to selecting the method that the owner will use to award the contract. For design and construction contracts, there are 4 categories that these methods can fall under. 1. Competitive bid, 2. Pre-qualified competitive bid, 3. Best value selection, and 4. Negotiated selection. Click on each icon to learn more. Next, we will discuss the different types of contract risk and the techniques to mitigate against these types of risk. According to Francis Hartman, contract risk is divided into performance and cost. Built environment contract risk refers to any exposure to possible loss occurring at any point in the contract life cycle. Because every project is different, each project offers a multitude of risks. Therefore, all built environment project stakeholders must be able to recognize, assess, and manage risks. Quite often, owners shift most of the project risk to another contracting party through contractual disclaimer clauses. According to the PMI article on construction contracts and risk allocation, recent studies have identified that the 5 most common disclaimer clauses in construction contracts are 1. Uncertainty of work conditions, 2. Delaying events, 3. Indemnification, 4. Liquidated damages, and 5. Sufficiency of contract documents. Some of the most common types of contract risk can be grouped together under the following categories. 1. Contract type and misaligned incentives among parties. 2. Inappropriate risk allocation. 3. Increased complexity of contracts. 4. Inadequate insurance certificate. 5. Risks in general conditions of contracts. And 6. Pricing risks. Click on each icon to learn more about each of these types of contract risk. Let's take a moment to see what you've learned. Here's a suggestion of further reading on this topic. Once you have reviewed this information, click Next to move on. Congratulations! You have now completed the Contract and Delivery Method Strategies section. In the next section, you will learn about risk classification and prioritization.